Hello, Dan Joss. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
So let me ask you, what's a pet peeve for you?
A pet peeve. Not having insurance or self-insuring when you could pass the insurance to someone else.
Okay. And give me a scenario of that.
How about pet health insurance?
Pet health insurance. Okay, well, that seems quite appropriate for
Have you
a
ever
pet
heard of
peeve.
it?
I have heard of it.
It's like, let's say, human being insurance, human being health insurance.
Right, because they're a member of the family.
I heard about a study that was done in 2018 that said the average pet owner with a dog that lives 12 years pays about $1,386 a year for their pet.
Sounds about right.
12 years, that's 16,600.
Yeah, I hadn't done that math. I'd done the first one, but not
So
all
then we
of
have to
it.
decide, is it worth it or not? No, just kidding.
Of course it's worth it.
But that's, care, maintenance,
Right.
kenneling, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you had cancer treatments or other things that could happen, diagnostic treatments, prescription medications, emergencies.
Right.
Emergencies, your pet gets hit by a car, you bring it to the hospital. There's costs to that.
Right.
And so pet insurance offsets some of those costs.
Okay.
So if you can't afford the big costs of pet ownership, consider pet insurance.
Pet insurance.
Well,
Okay.
let me be more accurate. Pet
Okay.
health insurance.
Pet health insurance.
Because previously we talked about pet insurance on a homeowner's policy.
Right.
And how home insurance for liability costs more if you have certain kinds of breeds of pets.
Right.
So pet health insurance offsets the things that we really don't want to spend money on, but really want to spend money on.
Right. Because the homeowners would be barking up the wrong tree if we were looking for health insurance for the dog.
That's right. It won't cover dental, behavioral issues. I mean, you have to train your pet. You
Right.
can't pay for insurance for that, but you could pay someone to train it for you, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's not what health insurance is. And it's typically a reimbursement policy. So you get the bills, and if those expenses are covered, you submit them and get your reimbursement, just like many health insurances do.
Okay.
And the costs vary depending on the pet, how old the pet is, breed, sex, multiple pet discounts. I mean, there's all kinds of things that go into pricing what a policy costs.
Wow.
So call or hit online, do a search, pet health insurance, and you'll see hundreds of companies out there that provide this product.
It's just littered with them.
It's littered with them.
Yes. I did say it's littered with them. So this sounds like an interesting concept here, and I do have a dog. Actually, it's really more my wife's dog. And it's 10 years old. It's a little Cairn Terrier, and we love it, and he comes into the office, and I can imagine the struggles that there would be if, God forbid, there'd be catastrophic situations with him.
And I've had acquaintances that have used pet insurance, and it saves. Sometimes treatments could cost thousands of dollars for a
Right.
pet, and so many pet owners consider them obviously members of the family, and that costs sometimes.
Right. So clearly, you think pet insurance is something people should consider. Should they consider buying that from you?
Nope, we don't sell insurance of any kind.
Not even for pets.
Nope. We know it's available, and we like to discuss the risks that our clients have with them and determine which should be self-insured and which should be passed off to an insurance provider.
That's a good idea. And you talk about self-insured, and that sounds like it's something people do. But in some ways, it's just another way of saying, I don't have insurance, so I'm going to have to pay for it out of my own pocket.
That's right.
And if my pocket's empty, I'm going to be in debt, or I'm not going to be able to afford that service.
Right.
Okay.
But it's worth asking and answering the question.
Right. And as a certified financial planner, you look at that holistic concept of all their liabilities and their possible expenses, and you help them assess them, and you do that with an objective eye.
Right. Well, and like any other thing that we plan for, unexpected expenses use resources we'd rather use for something else.
Right.
And so this is just one more of those.
Right. And there's some pet expenses that you can plan for.
Sure.
But
hopefully you should plan for all your pet expenses.
Right. That's true.
But there will be some unexpected ones, and it's worth asking the question, should we cover this or or just hope for the best and
Good.
see what happens.
And that's sort of what I guess a financial planner such as yourself does, is you ask the questions.
Right.
That's good. So if somebody calls you, what's the best number for them to call you at?
757-903-2127.
All right. And website?
Website is jossbrown.com.
And if they call or email you, you're not going to hound them about pet insurance.
No, I won't.
Okay. Very good. Thanks for being here as always.
Thank you.
Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.